Ryan.
What's going on, everyone? This is Jacob Shoup. You're watching the Tom O'Brien Show. You know, what I find funny about that intro with George calling is I actually met George in real life, completely randomly. We ran into each other, and I had no idea who he was, and he said, I know you. And at first, that always gives me pause, because the question is how? But he's a great guy, and it's so good hearing from listeners, you know. And George, if you're out there, I hope you're doing well, buddy. Hope you had a good Christmas, good New Year's. We're going to have a great new year. 2025 is right around the corner. This is going to be our last show of the year. Of course, we're going to be off tomorrow. And then we'll be back, I believe, live on Thursday. So we'll see what happens with that. And then something important to note as well is January 9th, the market will be closed. I'm not sure if we'll be in office for that regardless. But that is in honor of Carter's death. Let's take a look at what we got going on. We have the composite off about 0.62%. You get the Dow Jones Industrial kind of flat right now, but off about 0.07% at 42,542. You have that DXY ticking a little bit higher today, up about 0.45% at 108.44. You have crude oil staying right around that 71, high 71 area at 71.89, up 1.27%. Oh, let's see. You got those Russell futures up about 0.36%. How about that? Yeah, the SPY trading off 0.28%. So we're getting a kind of maybe an end of the day little rally there as well. And you know, I want to say as well, I saw tweets today. It's like, why is the stock market crashing? And I mean, we're just trading right back around November 19th and 18th, right? You have low volume going into holidays. I mean, you could get people selling off losses for taxes, whatever it may be. You know, additionally, I want to say as well, I think there are some systemic issues that exist. We could talk about those a little bit. And that got me started. The thing that got me thinking about that was actually a tweet from Bill Ackman today. I believe he's going to go live after the close of the market and speak about an investment that he's looking for in Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. You can actually get those OTC. What is that ticker? I think it's... If you give me a second, I will look up the ticker at some point, and we'll talk about that. Because I want to talk about some other risks as well that exist within private equity groups and real estate. Now, that's more commercial real estate as opposed to, you know, sort of that Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac do, but still this idea of you know, leveraging against assets that might depreciate sometime soon is obviously a massive systemic risk. But other than that, I think kind of what this pause, you know, really is uncertainty regarding what's going to happen with the Trump presidency. You know, I mean, there is a chance, of course, that you get sideways movement until the inauguration or a little bit afterwards to see what actually happens. I think something that's been nice is that this hasn't necessarily been a total black box in the sense that Trump is being very vocal about things he would like to do. Now, I think a lot of it, you know, he's an entertaining figure without a doubt. And so I think a lot of stuff is hyperbolic. But, you know, we have to wait to see kind of what actions and measures are actually taken. And then I think the market can establish itself from there. But maybe I don't see necessarily anything that exists except that high leveraging against things like commercial real estate that private equity is doing that could blow this up in any major way. And famous last words probably, right? It is unfortunate that you're not getting a massive rally into the last day of the year. But again, I think that's just because we're in a presidential election cycle here. And I think, you know, I haven't back traced anything to see what that was like in the past. I know Steve Rhodes, you know, that's something kind of in his wheelhouse. If I had some more time, I can definitely take a look at that. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at right now with everything. Your small little like pop stocks that we've been looking at recently are getting absolutely obliterated today. Or they're going up highly, but it's all on low volume. So I'm talking things like Castellum, right? I didn't get back into Castellum, luckily, but you have a nice, huge movement down. This is on pretty low volume, however, right? Trading at 170 at 34.11. You know, they honestly around these levels, like sub 100 million market cap is kind of interesting, right? I mean, you know, you could push this down a little bit further. Additionally, I am surprised that they actually did not do any kind of offering today, especially when you're trading at a high of what, 283. You know, you closed around 258. They just didn't do that. I still think they probably have stuff in the pipeline. You know, we're talking cybersecurity going into 2025 and how massive that's going to be. Of course, they're able to bid on the Oasis IDIQ contracts, which is huge. They need these contracts. They have been improving financially. Still, quite a, it's speculation at these kind of levels, especially at this market cap, right? They're a company that is trying to get convalescent. We'll see what happens on it. But it's interesting, and it's good that they're able to bid. So, you can think of 2025 as years, maybe they catch one or two, and this kind of expands out for them, right? Gives you that kind of catalyst. Looking at things like LAES, that is just getting beaten down today, off 27.36%. Again, you have some lower volume today. You have lower trading going on. Any kind of move makes big movement, right? So it's still at 141 market cap, which is impressive. I think this is wrong, honestly, for Thinkorswim, the market cap size, at least for LAES, because I think it was trading at 800 million a few days ago, and you're only off like 30% or something like that. That doesn't get you 142. Regardless, getting sold off today pretty heavily on low volume. Same with WiseKey, sold off on low volume, on like no volume actually. Does this give it a spot to maybe recover pretty strongly coming into the new year? It's kind of hard to say. I think that WiseKey, again, has a nice catalyst coming up with their launch with SpaceX. And then, of course, Seal SQ is going to be, their PKIs are going to be inside of those satellites. So it's interesting. I'm still bullish on IoT going forward, right? No doubt. The post-quantum cryptography is very interesting. And we're going to talk a little bit later. Someone had actually emailed me about this, QNCCF. This is quantum emotion, because I talk about cryptography, or rather encryption in a quantum world. And this one's a little bit unique, right? I think some people see this as a pairing with stuff like LAES, but in my opinion, it's actually not. And again, we'll talk some more about that. But of course, you're up 9.9%. And this is where you always get into these kind of weird spots, right? Like, we're going to break into what quantum emotion does and why it might not be as good as something like what Seal SQ is trying to do in a very serious way. But then you also get it. It's like, well, hey, we got quantum in the name. Push the thing up 10.58%. What a movement. This is up 6% when I was looking at it earlier. Folks, stay right there. We'll be right back with Basil Chapman. He's going to be on for 2 fantastic segments. We'll see you then.